Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of zeros of quadratic functions. This is standard A.7B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 4 of the 2021 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a given statement here, g of x equals x squared minus 6x minus 16. And we need to find a statement, and all of our statements are looking for the zeros. So we're looking specifically for the zeros. Remember, the zeros are the solutions, or they are the x-intercepts. So they are the value of x that makes g of x, or in most cases the y value, equal 0. And they're giving it to us here in standard form. So remember, our standard form looks like this. It's the ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the standard form of a quadratic function, and it's very helpful because we need to know a, b, and c in order to find the zeros. So it's just x squared, so we can say that a equals 1. That's fine. B, you can see it's got that negative 6. That's the coefficient there. And then c is going to equal negative 16. So how do we use that information? Well, I like to use the diamond method. You might know another way to do it. But the diamond method here says we're going to take the a and the c and we're going to multiply them. So a times c, that's just going to be 1 times negative 16, negative 16. And then you simply put the b down here, negative 6. And this is where you need to think, what are the factors of 16? Right, 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. And which of those pairs could add up to negative 8? Right, or negative 6. And I'm thinking we need negative 8 and positive 2. Because negative 8, positive 2, if you add them, that makes negative 6. If you multiply them, you get negative 16. That's what you need. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this term right here. We're going to rewrite it. We're going to say g of x equals x squared. Instead of that minus 6x, I'm going to use these two right here. Minus 8x plus 2x minus 16. And then what we're going to do is we are going to try to factor out something out of each of those terms. I'm just going to group those real quick. So if I were to group those, I can say this is, well, what's the only thing I can factor out of that? X. So that's going to be x minus 8 if I factor that out. And then I've got, what can I factor out of this 2x minus 16? Not an x, but I can factor 2 out. So that's going to be x, and then if I factor out that 2, that's going to be 8, because that's really 8 times 2. Look what I have, x minus 8, x minus 8. If you do this and you get the same factor twice, good. That's the goal here. Because now, out of this entire thing, right, I want to factor out x minus 8. What does that leave me with? That leaves me with x plus 2. If you take out the x minus 8's, and there we go. We now have what we call factored form. So this is the factored form. And this is where you get the x minus u, x minus v, whereas your u's and your v's are going to be your zeros. Because watch, you can set each of these to 0 to find the solution. So you can take your x minus 8. You could solve for 8, so x equals 8. Then you can take your x plus 2 equals 0, solve for 2, so it's going to be negative 2. So since this is a positive 2, and in the factored form it's minus v, it needs to be a negative 2 to get that positive 2. And then since it's x minus u, x minus 8, it can simply be 8. That works. So those are your zeros, or your solutions, or the two values of x that make g of x equals 0. So we see our answers right here, the x plus 2, x minus 8, and our answer is H.